Greetings and salutations. This is going to be a short video. So I'm making some ammo for my solar defense satellites, and I kind of in a pickle because of recent events as far as getting attacked by drones and whatnot. So they've since fixed the problem, but I'm kind of in that rebuild stage where I'm kind of getting everything fixed. And if you watch some of my previous videos, you know I've been struggling to get the repair bay to repair because it's not even though I went through the full cycle, it didn't actually repair. And so now I'm kind of trying to figure out what's up because I can't go and really go planetary and harvest stuff until I get some of the ooh, see, look, we're having some issues where it's not loading in all of the assets. I noticed that if I log out and log back in, it might pull it back in, but I've been having some issues with that because it's there, but for whatever reason, it's not loading in on this playthrough. And I play on the vanilla public server, and so. But one of the things that I'd like to see in the game is a Wi-Fi extender. Like, they can use the existing assets. They can use the antennas as the Wi-Fi extender, and maybe what they do is they just make a box, and it's a combination of adding the box or one of these antennas, and the antennas give you can use whatever version you want, but instead of it just being a static item, it actually multiplies the Wi-Fi. And so instead of it having like a base range, I don't know what the Wi-Fi range is, but instead of having a base range of 50, these antennas, since they're already assets that are already created in the game, if you go through the trouble of sticking an antenna on your build, you just push out the Wi-Fi a little bit farther through the source of the antennas, and so that way it kind of gives it purpose, and so that way you see more antennas being used and more kind of sci-fi create. Because my issue is out there, 700 meters away. I need to load up ammo, but I don't. I have to fly out there to re-equip them, and so I've been trying to figure out kind of how I want to do this. But if I had a little Wi-Fi extender, I should be able to just hit F4, and it's with my Wi-Fi extenders and the fact that I have antennas on that thing out there, I should be able to just kind of like pour it into it and have it in my drop down menu. That way I can resupply while I'm at the foundry here and just kind of get that automation, that base defense automation a little higher. Yeah, this is the one I need. I got to make some of these. I want to see what these things are. I built these little defense satellites. I'm kind of curious how they perform, and I want to see. I gotta move storage bay 2 to storage bay 1. Let me do that real quick. That'll speed up. Storage bay 2, right, and storage bay 1. Let me put this in there, and then let me get the ammo. Get the ammo bay. Ooh, that's empty. No, it's not. Put all this ammo, stuff I've looted. Kind of trying to reconsolidate because I got wrecked pretty good, so I'm trying to reconsolidate a bunch of stuff. I'm out of plant fibers, and I need to get to the planet in order to get plant fibers. And on my next, I'm gonna break this down. This is one of my earlier solar farms. I'm planning on breaking this thing down because I've since completely re-engineered and completely reworked this thing to where I got a 917. I wanted to do an easy 1,000. I wanted to push it. A class 10 farm was the goal. Do a class 10 farm. And right now I'm up to class 8, but I don't know if I want to go through the trouble of splicing that thing up and extending it out to an even class. It's just because, right? You can do it. Just do it just because you can do it kind of thing. And, and that's something I'm kind of experimenting with. And I've been pretty happy with the results. I mean, I've had them running for a few weeks, and I've been using them and haven't had any issues except loading into the server. When I load in, sometimes I notice that the wall's missing, and it's not the build's fault. It's like a little server corruption or server degradation, because the wall will be missing, and what it does is it kills that row of plants that are right next to it. And I've just kind of noticed, and I think if I log out and log back in, I think it fixes the problem. But that's something I've noticed that's happened a couple of times. And but yeah, I want to rework this. And so one of the things I'd like to see added is, I'm just going to keep talking about this stuff, because I realize even though they've pulled out of alpha, there's a few issues with the game that still exist, and I know why they did it. They need to start monetizing, and I'm completely happy with that. Like, I understand it, I get it. The game's been out for 5 years, and I think they've fulfilled on their promise, and so I'm good. I'm good with what they did, and I support it. But on the same token, that they need to have some playability loops. I'd like to see, when you go to a faction station, I'd like to see a mission guide. When you go and you're like, you can go click, and you only need neutral, right? You only need neutral, and I'd like to see the faction a little harder to work. Like a little bit harder to work through the faction to get that good rep. And I'd like to see all faction gradually deteriorate. So when you get in that top threshold, it deteriorates over time if you don't stay up on top of it. And so you got to continue to do missions to stay up on that faction. Otherwise, it deteriorates. The same way that Xerax eventually neutrals out after a while too. I'd like to see it to work on the other end of that, to where the positive faction kind of neutraled out gradually over time. That way, you got to continue to do these missions that this NPC has to drive these playability loops. Like, and they would just be like, "Go delivery. We need you to go deliver. We need to go deliver to another space station somewhere." And then another mission might be like a rescue mission. Hey, there's this guy who's stranded. He ran out of fuel. We need you to go deliver fuel to him, and just come up with a series of kind of playability loops that generate revenue. I'd also like to see materials that it can only be purchased, right? Like some maybe advanced cores that can be purchased, but they're just like retardedly expensive. So that drives the currency market. And same thing with like maybe epic armor, like it can be purchased, but it's like $2.8 trillion, just some stupid thing, right? And so that way, it ties into these playability loops, and give currency an actual reason to have money. Okay, I got to figure out how I want to do this, because the issue that I'm having, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sabotage this, because I need 9. I need 9. So let's do this. Get here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select another fridge. Oh, that one's full too. Gee. I need 9 grow plots to there we go. Gotta find an empty one. There we go. Okay, so I need 9 grow. Hit T. Salvage this. Salvage this. And so I'm just gonna redo this anyways. And so I gotta get my mule back up and running. Okay, there we go. Salvage. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think the issue I'm gonna have though is I can only do 6 at a time. So F4. Let's see if this will fit in my inventory. Yeah, almost exactly. So I'm gonna have to go dump. The new ones are really nice. The new farms, the hydroponic farms that I've built are really nice. The solar farms, they're you can see where I kind of reworked the back of this. I've reworked the back of this, and to kind of to give it more power, because something I realized is this doesn't have enough power to run the repair bays on extensive repairs, and so I got it to where. And over here, I kind of did sloppy. I just didn't feel like messing with it, and I just threw these down. But you can see where my solar thing didn't load in, but it's still there. It's not gone. It's still there. It's just corrupted. I guess a corrupted load. Okay, so I'm just gonna come over here. Another thing I'd like to see added is to when I feed this thing, right? When I feed this thing, I wish I could just feed it whatever instead of it having it be grow plots. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hit. This is the second time I've done this, and the first time I did it, it ate the. Hold on, let's go F. Okay, so stand by. We're gonna do this. We're gonna say repair. It's gonna do its little math, right? It's doing its math. Last saved 900 hours ago. Total repair time 47 minutes, and you can see where it's going now. Okay, and I figured out if I park this thing right long ways on these bases, I can pretty much repair any size ship if I just stack it, like tee it up is I think a good way of putting it. If I just tee it up, I can repair anything. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna log out, and because I don't want to burn up all my resources. Actually, I want to do one more thing before I log out. I want to get into here and I want to get some ammo. I think I said storage bay 2. Ooh, look at all that ammo. That's a lot. Oh, this stuff's heavy. I'm gonna need some transportation to get that over to. Okay, I guess. See, that's where that Wi-Fi comes in. If I could have these antennas actually be Wi-Fi extenders to kind of push that range out a little bit, just by adding an antenna, and it should say it in the. Let me go back here. I know I'm kind of scattered. I'm a little shotgun blasted, but if it should say, when I go to the antennas, right, and I come over here to the construction, I hit P. No, that's not right. If I hit F and I come over here, we don't need no more of that. I got plenty. Let's say I want to make a base, right? Then we go to antennas. Where's antennas? Is it right here? Is it parts? Right here, right here. And antennas deco, right? It they need to turn this right here and antennas into Wi-Fi extenders. And it doesn't need to say, it just needs to say antenna, take away the deco, and then the tooltips. Antennas can increase the range of Wi-Fi by 25% or 50% and whatever, right? And so obviously if you're an SV, and Wi-Fi should be like 25 meters. If you're in a CV, Wi-Fi should be 50 meters. If you're in a base, Wi-Fi should be 100 meters. If you have the Wi-Fi um, module, the default base Wi-Fi that you have when you're inside of it. I don't know what they have that set at, but don't need to mess with that. But when you have the actual Wi-Fi connector, I feel like it should be based off of its class. So base would be default 100, or it can be 50. I don't know. That's up for the development team to figure out. But I feel like it should scale based off of the type that it is. If it's a CV, it should be 50. If it's a base, it's 100, and if it's a SV, it's 25, and a hovercraft, a 25. Because they're small blocks. And then when you put the antenna on there, it adds 50%. And so what you can do though is you can daisy chain them together. And if you put an antenna on a block, it'll link the if it's a base block or a CV block, like you have to build a core, obviously, so you could call them a relay. You call them a relay, and you can put a core and an antenna and a Wi-Fi, and then that's a Wi-Fi relay, and that allows you to have another 100 meters of Wi-Fi to where you can network all your stuff together. But anyways, I think I elaborated on the Wi-Fi antenna. I'll do another update video. I'm going to log out. I'm not going to sit here for an hour and watch this thing go. But yeah, antennae and Wi-Fi. That's the discussion in this video. Thank you for watching.